Salam aleikum, aleikum salam Congo, Moane Moncada. And of course, lots of blessings to everybody tuning in and listening. Now, today, what I wanted to do for everybody is being aware of the response my original attending your Eshu Eleggua video got. I decided to release a video teaching video instructions as well as voice on how to properly give your Eshu, your Eleggua, a basic simple attendance and a small offering, you could say. Because you need to know that anytime you give your Eleggua or your Eshu, even a dessert, a coffee, oti, aguardiente, all of those things, tobacco, that's an offering itself. So this is how you attend your Eshu, your Eleggua, as well as offer something to it as well. But yes, this is the basic way to attend your Eleggua, your Eshu, as far as I've been taught, in my humble opinion. So the first thing you will need for this is a jicara in order for you to place water into it. And further along, you're going to place oti, which is aguardiente, inside this jicara. So you're going to need 2 jicaras, a candle. It could either be a 7-day candle or 2 smaller candles, doesn't matter, as long as you're giving light to your Eleggua. You're going to need a tobacco cigar, and you're going to need red palm oil, and optional, you could have some sort of chocolate or dessert that you offer to your Eleggua, your Eshu. Also optional is you could have a maraca to play for your Eshu, as they like this, and that is a way to invoke the Orisha and the force of Eshu. What you are first going to do is light the candle that you have. Now, it is pretty self-explanatory on how to light a candle, so I'm not going to include a video of that. Once the candle is lit, either in front of your Eshu or balanced with your Eshu and your Eleguas, you don't want to put the candle behind it, because the whole point of lighting the candle is to give light to the Orishas and to these forces. So definitely want to either have it in front or balanced with it. Now, once the candle is lit, you will use your right hand and knock on the ground in front of Eshu Eleggua 3 times. Something I want to state, because some of you might be questioning, you aren't required to necessarily have the estera out, which is the straw mat, under Eshu, as Eshu is on top of the plato de barro. But if you do have the estera, definitely put it on top, because it's better. Because whether it's Eshu or Eleggua, or however you want to look at it, it's still an Orisha overall at the end of the day. If you don't understand the significant and correlation and connection between Orishas and the estera, then you definitely need to read some books on the religion and Santeria and Ochanifa in general, and read some, basic knowledge, with all due respect and with all humbleness. What you are going to do next is grab your jicara and place water inside of the jicara. Once you have cool, fresh water inside of the jicara, you will bring it in front of Eleggua. You will hold the jicara with your left hand, and with your right hand, you will start to dip your fingers inside of the jicara, collecting some water as you scoop it up, and then you will, in a sort of say, sprinkle the water onto your Eshu, your Eleggua, and not only that, as well as onto your Ile, your temple, which is your house. And it also helps if you're doing this with the door open and you sprinkle some water outside as well, in front of your doorstep and around your door. That's very beneficial too. So once you're doing this, as you're spraying the water on your Eleggua and around the area, what you're going to say is Omi tutu, Ona tutu, Ile tutu, Tutu laroye. And obviously, if you know how to say a moyuba or moyuba to your orishas and such and whatnot, and if you have an odun in Kofara, Wofaka, or you're if you're Crown Santo, I would hope you know how to do this. But if you're Crown Santo, you'd obviously state your name and things of that nature. But if not, if all you have is your Wofaka or your Kofa or your Mano Dorula or an Eshu, then you can still say the Omi tutu, Ona tutu, Ile tutu, Tutu laroye. And that is a way to refresh as well as invoke your Eleggua. And what I mean by refresh is refreshing your house and the ground and the energy in the air. After you do that, you could either have another jicara, or with the same jicara that had water in it, you open your front door and dump it out. And if you have another jicara available, then you don't dump the water out. You can leave it there in front of Ogun or Eleggua or Eshu as a little offering. Now, because all water is also an offering, just as it is to the Bóvedas and things of that nature, and a lot of other things, you will place the oti, the aguardiente, the liquor, in the jicara. If you don't have a jicara, then you will just like put it in your mouth directly instead of the jicara. But if you do have a jicara, use it because it's more traditional. You will place the the oti in the jicara, and what you will do is you will put the oti in your mouth and spray it onto your Eshu Eleggua 3 times. This will invoke the Orisha and the force of Eshu, and it is also a way to give it an offering. After you do this, you can leave the jicara filled with the rest of the oti, the aguardiente, in front of Eshu. Now, what you're going to do is get a cigar, a tobacco, and if it has like a sort of ring around it or a company name or some little band around it, you're gonna want to cut that off. Once you do that and you light it and you start smoking on it, you're gonna want to turn it around to where the lit side is facing your mouth. Put it right after your teeth. You don't really have to bite on it, but just close your mouth on it and blow. So that would make the cigar smoke come out of where you originally are supposed to place your mouth on the cigar. This is the way to blow tobacco smoke to the Orishas and this Eshu Eleggua in general. A lot of people have a hard time blowing the tobacco smoke, but you just have to get used to it. Once you practice a bit, you will be able to do it much better and avoid burning your tongue and things of that nature. And of course, after you're done blowing the tobacco smoke and smoking the cigar and praying and saying, manifesting good thoughts and positive things, you could leave the tobacco by your Eshu and your Eleggua, of course. And one thing I forgot to mention is that while you're smoking on the cigar, you could also be playing the instrument maraca for Eshu Eleggua, as this helps invoke him, and also is not really an offering, but it's like giving tribute and honor to him. You can now place your hikara with coffee and any other offerings you may have, such as desserts or chocolates or sweets or candy or toys, to Eshu. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is not something I recommend you do each time you attend your Eshu, your Eleggua, but it is definitely something I recommend you do if, for say, you would feel like you need to put your Eshu to work, or you need to like heat him up to get him activated, and like, to have him working harder, I guess, to heat up things. That's why it's only recommended to do this part only, like, once a month or once every now and then when you feel like it's necessary. What you will do is get red palm oil or manteca corojo, and you will place it on your palm and rub it, and then you will grab your Eshu and start rubbing it on top of him, on his head, around him, all over the Eshu in general, or your Eleggua rock as well. And what you could also do while you're rubbing the red palm oil all over your Eshu, your Eleggua, is you could manifest and pray for good things and think about good things, but you could also bring your Eshu or your Eleggua rock up and close to your mouth. If your Eshu is actually a casting, you could bring the ear up to your mouth and start whispering in its ears things that you would like to accomplish, or goals that you have, and offerings that you want to give him as well. Once you are done with all of this, you will clean your hands, as they're going to be stained and very greasy and, dirty from the red palm oil, and you will place Eshu back onto his plate. Now, of course, there's different iles and different houses that do things quite differently, and a more experienced person could obviously do this attending of Eshu much better. Now, this is a very basic, simple attending of Eshu, but that's the point I was trying to get to in this video. That's the whole purpose of the video, is to teach you how to simply, fundamentally attend your Eshu, your Eleggua. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot from this. And Maalaikum salam, lots of blessings to everybody. Have a great day.